For those who enjoy welcoming companions aboard their yacht or whisking an entourage away on their jet, Mercedes EQ presents a suitably lavish mode to actualize terrestrial excursions in the company of others. The 2023 EQS 580 SUV enlarges the EQS 580 sedan, repackaging that full-size car's opulent appeals into a taller three-row crossover format. As such, privileged drivers may impress as many as 6 passengers simultaneously with the EQS 580 SUV's stunning appointments and quick straight-line electric performance. Yet beneath these attributes, there's a lack of final polish that limits its allure for all aboard, not least of whom is that giving individual behind the wheel. Resoundingly superlative. As with the EQS sedan, the EQS SUV range begins with the single-motor 450-plus model. At $105,550, it's priced in the sphere of true high-end exclusivity. If high-end is still not lofty enough, Mercedes EQ offers the dual-motor 580 model tested here for $127,100 before options that send that sum skyward. Among many, many others, our test vehicle carried niceties such as special order blue upholstery, a micro-suede headliner, second-row entertainment displays, heated third-row seats, 5-zone climate control, glitzy ambient lighting, and an illuminated star logo in the grille for a total of $152,005. On initial impression, that price seems justified. The cabin presents beautifully, boasting spaciousness, elegance, technology, and attention to detail rarely seen in three-row people movers. Sink into the massaging front seats, close the heavy door, then marvel in the comfort and quietude. Silent to 60 miles per hour. Drawing electrons from a 107.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack, the made-in-America EQS 580's dual motors combine to produce 536 horsepower and 633 pounds-to-foot of torque. These motors swift the SUV to 60 miles per hour in 4.1 seconds and continue pulling through a 12.6-second, 111.8 mile-per-hour quarter-mile. Although this speed is more than satisfactory, it trails similarly upscale three-row vehicles, electrified or otherwise. Equipped with twin-turbo V8 engines, the Audi SQ7 and Mercedes-AMG GLS 63 sprint to 60 miles per hour in 3.6 and 3.7 seconds respectively, while the BMW Alpina XB7 does so in 4.0 seconds, and that's before this year's update, which brings more power. The mighty quad-motor Rivian R1S needs no more than 3.2 seconds, and the Tesla Model X Plaid could be quicker still. In 60 to 0 mile per hour braking, the EQS 580 SUV's 113-foot stop is close to the aforementioned AMG and Audi. It's ahead of the weighty Rivian's 121-foot best but behind the Alpina's astonishing 100-foot result. This figure bodes well for emergency stops, but the brake pedal's behavior in common driving scenarios is perhaps the EQS 580 SUV's most frustrating and misguided dynamic attribute. As an electric vehicle, the EQS has regenerative braking capability that uses the motors to slow the vehicle while generating electricity to put back into the battery. It does this when the driver lifts their foot off the accelerator. There are several levels of regen, though none that will bring the EQS to a full stop without touching the brake pedal. The lack of one-pedal driving is therefore suboptimal, but not the problem. Rather, it's how the brake pedal automatically moves in conjunction with the amount of regen in effect at any given moment. Mercedes says this is intended to better blend regenerative and friction braking by moving the pedal to the position that matches the deceleration already underway, so that when you go to add stopping power with your foot, you simply pick up where the computer's left off. The result, though, is a pedal that darts and hides. It's alarming to reach for the brake and find it's not where you expected it to be. Turning off regen negates this vagary, yet doing so eliminates an enjoyable aspect of EV driving. When the brake is found and pressed, the pedal shows delayed responses, strange non-linearity, and little feel. Weighed down by luxury. Loaded with a sizable battery and extensive features, the EQS 580 SUV tips the scales at a considerable 6,423 pounds. Such mass isn't unheard of among large EVs, which often mask this weightiness by feeling unexpectedly agile thanks to their underfloor batteries lowering their center of gravity. Despite the EQS 580 SUV using this construction, it doesn't enjoy that outcome, rather, quite the opposite. Even with the assistance of four-wheel steering, guiding the EQS 580 SUV through corners is a chore. Deliberate inputs are needed to keep it pointed in the right direction, as the SUV contends with its heft and suffers significant body roll. At least drivers saw the steering wheel around with little effort. The rack has a light weighting to it and offers almost no feedback from the front tires. Even in cruising situations, the EQS falls flat, failing to track straight and true on the freeway and instead wandering slightly. Handling tests revealed skid pad grip of 0.82 grams average and a figure 8 lap of 26.1 seconds at 0.70 grams average, figures that trail the EQS competitive set. After a few runs, the EQS580 SUV threw warning lights at our test drivers, furthering the notion that it dislikes being pushed. Nor, it seems, does the EQS580 SUV seem to relax enough for comfy cruising, as you'd expect from the ponderous handling. The SUV is unable to match the marvelously smooth gliding qualities of its EQS sedan counterpart. Instead, road textures are transmitted into the cabin, and larger impacts result in untoward clunking sensations. Insulation is provided by the plush seats, but the EQS580 SUV lacks the unassailable suspension sophistication desired from a vehicle of this caliber. Screens are huge, third row, less so. The EQS580 SUV's insides are a near copy of the EQS sedan, and nothing commands attention like the hyperscreen. This black pool of glass covers the dashboard, with sections that illuminate to reveal displays for the driver, passenger, and central infotainment. Although technically impressive, it seems excessive, larger than it needs to be, and it replaces more traditional luxury trim details, such as nice buttons, that might previously have lived in a Benz cabin. Advancing that imbalance is the incredibly enormous head-up display, which projects such a breadth of information that the driver's gaze need rarely fall to the screens below. Storage areas abound between the center console, the hollow cubby beneath it, and door panel pockets. Much like in the sedan, the front and middle row seats offer abundant space and extensive adjustability, along with marvelously soft headrest pillows. Therefore, it's the EQS SUV exclusive third row that deserves attention. Sized for petite passengers, it nevertheless loses few amenities to the rows ahead. Cup holders, USB ports, and air vents are included. Access is reasonably easy after the rows ahead power forward with the flick of a switch. Mercedes wisely integrated closing shades for the EQS SUV's glass roof panels, thus avoiding the undue temperature increases that afflict other transparent-topped EVs. Switches in the cargo area provide one-touch folding of the second and third rows, allowing for versatile storage solutions. However, it's frustrating how if the third row is upright, there's nowhere to store the retractable cargo cover. It must be removed from the vehicle entirely lest it rattle around unsecured. Large and recharge. Range for the EQS 580 SUV is targeted at 285 miles, but perhaps like its sedan equivalent, soft-footed drivers in temperate climes will be able to coax its slippery shape even farther on a charge. As it can absorb electrons at a rate of up to 200 kilowatts, the EQS 580 SUV helps avoid spending too much time around commoners sharing public charging stations. Whether it's onlookers at those stations, valet stands, or even the fancy folks you bring with you, most will probably be agog over the Benz's unusual shape and eye-popping interior. For those behind the wheel, however, the experience is imperfect enough to place an asterisk over the EQS SUV's station among the burgeoning ranks of electrified luxury SUVs. The EQS 580 may be 2023's most extravagant three-row EV, but to those yacht riders and jet-setters eyeing one, maybe don't sign up for too long a lease.